Good day, everyone. This meeting is being conducted via remote communication in consideration of the safety of all participants due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Copies of the 2022 annual report and information statement may be downloaded from our ASM portal, which may be found at http://conveneagm.com/ph/HLCMASM 2023, our official website, www.holcim.ph, at the Holcim Philippines page of the Philippine Stock Exchange website. In compliance with regulations, we'd like to inform our stockholders and other participants that this meeting is being recorded. Our meeting will start in a few minutes. Thank you. Welcome to the 2023 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Holcim Philippines, Inc. Let us start the proceedings with the invocation. Let us clear our minds and unify ourselves in spirit as we begin this annual gathering. We give thanks for the blessing of another good year that translates to tangible benefits for every stakeholder of this company. We express our deepest gratitude for the opportunity to serve through Holcim Philippines as the company pursues its goal of providing a solid foundation for the nation's future. We pray that a strong sense of responsibility and service continues to guide us and lead us in carrying out our calling and mission to our stakeholders, to nation building, and to global citizenship. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chairman, Mr. Tomas I. Alcantara.
Good afternoon, fellow shareholders, to the 2023 Holcim Philippines annual meeting. The word extraordinary easily comes to mind in describing the year 2022. Fresh off the pandemic, we had to contend with an unprecedented surge in energy and fuel costs due to supply chain disruptions, while competition continued to intensify as imports poured in. It is easy to fold amid such pressure, but we did not. We remained profitable in 2022 and continued to contribute to the country's progress. More importantly, we achieved notable milestones to put us on the path to stronger performance over the long term. Put simply, we matched in incredible challenges with equally extraordinary responses. We continued to implement digitalization programs across its business to raise operational efficiency. We ramped up usage of alternative fuels and raw materials amid production of blended cements to lessen our carbon footprint and the consumption of raw materials. We continue to expand our customer base while engaging in key stakeholders to highlight the value and urgency of building more sustainably. This enabled us to respond to present challenges and accelerate our transformation from a cement manufacturer to a provider of sustainable and innovative building solutions, one that delivers excellent business results and positive social and environmental impact. These were made possible by our dedicated people led by our CEO and President, Oria Adrian, and his management team. My sincerest thanks to all of our employees for their relentless efforts to deliver performances and prepare the company to do even better. My deepest gratitude to our customers for their loyal patronage and appreciation of our efforts to provide the best products and services. I would also like to acknowledge the growing network of partners across various sectors that support our drive to ensure business success to positive impact. I am excited for the year ahead as we have shown the ability to deliver the extraordinary. While challenges remain, our remarkable resilience make me confident in our path. We are ready to accelerate our transformation to a stronger builder of progress in the country and grow the business profitably. We look forward to your continued support in this journey. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the Board of Directors of Holcim Philippines Incorporated. This is led by Mr. Martin Kreigner, Ms. Tan Fen Hui, Dr. Thomas Aquino, Mr. Miguel Amedel Nera, our President and Executive Officer, Mr. Horia Adrian, our Corporate Secretary, Ms. Attorney Belinda E. Dungan, our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Eliana Nieto Sanchez, the members of the Holcim Executive Committee. Let us now proceed with the first item in the agenda. Will the Corporate Secretary please certify the posting and publication of notices and the existence of a quorum for this meeting?
Good afternoon. Yes, Mr. Chairman. I certify that stockholders of record as of April 11, 2023 have been duly notified of this 2023 annual stockholders meeting in accordance with our internal guidelines specified in the definitive information statement and the requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The notice and agenda of this meeting, together with the definitive information statement, which also contains the requirements and procedure for registration, participation, and voting in absentia, were posted on the company's website, www.holcim.ph, on the ASM portal, and disclosed in the PSE EDGE. In addition, the notice and agenda of this meeting was published in the Business Mirror and the Manila Times on April 17 and April 18, 2023, both in print and online formats. Based on the record of attendance, there are represented in this meeting, in person or in proxy, stockholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, representing 95.49% of the total issued and outstanding shares of the company as of record date, April 11, 2023. There is therefore a quorum at this meeting. I also certify that the chairman of this meeting is holding proxies for 3,941,175,506 shares, representing 61.8% of the total issued and outstanding shares of the company.
The Corporate Secretary will now share the rules of conduct in voting for this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, the rules for voting in this meeting are specified in the definitive information statement, which is available for download at the company's website, www.holcim.ph, HPI's ASM portal, and NPSE Edge. I would just like to remind the shareholders of the following. Shareholders who registered or are entitled to vote by proxy by uploading the signed copy of the proxy form not later than May 5, 2023 at http://conveneagm.com/ph/HLCMASM2023 or by sending it via email to HPI Legal and Compliance PHL@holcim.com or in absentia by filling in the online voting form available at the ASM portal or during the live voting. We have preliminarily tabulated the votes received as of the last day of receiving the proxies or on May 5, 2023, after the proxy validation process. The tabulated votes represent stockholders owning 6,161,268,781 shares, representing 95.49% of the total issued and outstanding shares represented in this meeting. I will refer to my preliminary tabulation when I report the voting results during the meeting. The results of the final tabulation will be specified in the minutes of the meeting to be posted in HPI's website. We encourage everyone to send their questions to hpi-investor-relations@holcim.com. These questions will be read by our communications manager, Mr. Don Hilcarion, during the Q&A. Shareholders attending this meeting may still send their questions by sending an email to hpi-investor-relations@holcim.com. However, due to time and technological challenges, we may not be able to read aloud and respond to each question during the meeting. Management will endeavor to reply to all your questions via email.
Thank you, Ms. Dugan. There being a quorum, for this meeting, we now proceed to the other matters in the agenda. The first item in the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the annual meeting of the shareholders via remote communication on May 12, 2022. Copies of the minutes of the meetings are posted in the company's website and is also annexed to the company's definitive information statement. May I ask the corporate secretary to please share the voting results of the items in the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on May 12, 2022.
With that, the minutes of the 22 annual meeting is hereby approved. The operations report is comprised of the message of the President and Chief Executive Officer, the 2022 annual report, and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2022. May I call on the President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Horia Cyprian Adrian, to report on the company's operations for the year 2022. Mr. Horia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. In the next minutes, I would like to guide you through the operational performance of Holcim Philippines in 2022. That was an extraordinary year, as the Chairman Alcantara highlighted in his kind introduction. The 2022 was an extraordinary year because it started with the fifth lockdown following COVID-19 phase, the Omicron variant, I think you all remember. And it continued with shortage of materials due to the supply chain interruptions driven by this very COVID-19 pandemic. And lastly, it added another spin into this worldwide macroeconomical vulnerabilities driven by the conflict in Ukraine. So we had a perfect start of 2022, and all the businesses, not only Holcim Philippines, but all the businesses in the Philippines and around the world were facing an enormous challenge to cope with these sudden changes in the environment. So how did Holcim Philippines respond to that? Well, I would say that Holcim Philippines delivered a rather solid result financially and operationally in 2022, given the previous challenges. And on top of that, Holcim Philippines decided to move more aggressively into providing a positive impact into the environment where we are all living and preserving the nature of the beautiful country, Philippines, where we are operating and living with our families and business partners. So we did a lot of improvements in our sustainability performance, and we took a very active role in driving the sustainability agenda in the Philippines in accordance to also the authorities' direction. So, speaking about financial performance, we have recorded net sales of -1% comparing to 2021. And these net sales of -1% were mainly driven by a very good price performance. We managed to increase the prices to a double-digit figure, despite of the fact that we lost some volumes comparing to 2021. And more important, I think there is a positive momentum coming from the second half of 2021, when our cost efforts started to pay off, and we will see this in the performance of 2023. Regarding operating EBIT and net income, both of these numbers were 36% down comparing to the year 2021, mainly on the account of high cost increases, variable costs driven by fuel or electrical energy. We had a tremendous increase of about 60% in these two costs, and these two cost elements are one of the most important elements of any cement business. Regarding sustainability, and here it's actually what I would like to highlight, we have managed to reduce the CO2 footprint of our products by 7% in a single year. We have incorporated about 1 million tons of recycled materials into our products, be it fuels, alternative fuels, or alternative materials used in cement production. We have continued to increase our efforts on digitalization that led us to better managing our operations in the sense of taking more data-driven decisions and being more efficient. And 78% of our products were eco-friendly products last year, blended cements. Last but not least, in terms of cash flow, that's also an extraordinary good result. We delivered about 4.1 billion peso, a much better result, 68% higher than last year. Starting to split down this performance on different categories, I will focus now on the top line. So, as I said, top line was -1% versus 2021. And on different segments, we had a look at the cement, -2%. On aggregates, we had a 5% improvement of the net sales, and on dry mortar, 6% improvement in net sales. And I would like to highlight our newly added product in our product portfolio. This is granulated calcium carbonate, dedicated for various industries like asphalt, power plants, plastic, glass producers, where we recorded 2,000% higher net sales, as I said, from a lower base in 2021. Once again, I think the best performance was driven by price improvements. Now on this slide, just to highlight what I said before, the tremendous impact in our production cost driven by fuel and electricity. On fuel, we were impacted by 68% growth comparing to the year 2021, and on electricity, 40% growth compared to the same year. Both of these numbers are very much linked to the Newcastle index for coal, which, as you may know, in 2021 was about 80, and then in 2022 went more than 400. Next. On the positive impact, I will start with the CO2 reduction. So we will continue to increase our efforts in this area by having an ambitious target of 9% further reduction in 2023. And our objective is to go by 2026 to about 430 kilograms of CO2 per ton of cement. Regarding the positive impact, I would like to highlight our efforts on affordable housing as well. We have introduced into the Philippines last year EcoPlanet, which is our flagship product for low carbon footprint cements, and we managed to implement an affordable housing program using our EcoPlanet green cement. Regarding alternative fuels, by using alternative fuels, we avoided about 120,000 tons of virgin materials. So we are focusing on recycling a lot of materials in our cement productions, and we will continue to do that in the year 2023. Last, as I mentioned, digitalization. We have implemented digitalization across the production chain, starting from the operations, then with more efficient logistics, and finally offering a different customer experience with our Easy Build platform. A bit of a picture about the year 2023. So, of course, construction industry is driven by public sector as well as by the private sector. If you look at the public sector, the authorities are continuing the Build Better and More program, which will lead to more infrastructure projects into the Philippines, and we are happy to contribute and to support the development of these projects. On one hand. On the other hand, there are a lot of roads projects at local governmental units, be it agricultural roads, communal roads, that will be developed, and we have solutions for these projects as well. Regarding the private sector, we see a development in the area of low-rise buildings and condominium. Of course, coming after pandemic, everybody would like to have more space and more time to spend with the family. And when it comes to the high-rise building, we see a little bit of moderation or flat development here, as again, following the pandemic, not many people will come back to work physically in an office, so the demand for the office building will be lower. Next. For 2023, our objective is, first of all, to continue to build on the solid foundation that we have already have. So trying to make sure that we are the most efficient cement manufacturer in the country, and we have the best cost to market products. We will also continue to increase our efforts on digitalization, and by that increasing the efficiency of our plants. On the sustainability, we will continue to reduce the CO2 emissions of our operations, and we will be looking also beyond the fence of our operations on how can we reduce the CO2 emissions in the transportation of our products to the market, in the coring of our products, or looking at using more renewable energy to power up our operations. Last but not least, we will continue to improve in using EcoPlanet as a as a green cement in the Philippines. And for this last slide, I just wanted to highlight the fact that we have relaunched our Excel product, our flagship product in the Philippines, under the umbrella of EcoPlanet. EcoPlanet, as I said, is the family of products with lower carbon footprint that is worldwide present in more than 17 markets. And we are proud to say that our flagship product is now qualified to be called to be part of the EcoPlanet family. And it remains the same durable, reliable, and this time eco-friendly cement that will help young Filipino families to build their homes with care for environment as well. In the end of my speech, I would like to thank to all of my 1,100 colleagues in Holcim Philippines for their support, their effort, and their passion that they displayed in the year 2022 to reach this performance, and I'm counting on them to do a similar, if not a better job in 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Horia. Copies of the 2022 annual report and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2022 are posted in our website, www.holcim.ph, and HPI's ASM portal and the PSE Edge. Will the corporate secretary now please share the voting results on the item, on the next item in the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval of the operations report comprised of the 2022 annual report and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2022.
Thank you very much. The company's operations report comprised of the message of the Chief Executive Officer, the annual report, and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2021 are therefore approved. We now go to the election, and may I request the Corporate Secretary to advise the body of the nominations received.
Mr. Chairman, we have received the following nominations for directors of the company for the year 2023 to 2024. Mr. Tomas I. Alcantara, Mr. Martin Kriegner, Mr. Horia Ciprian Adrian, Ms. Tan Ten Wee, Mr. Midel T. Nera as Independent Director, Dr. Tomas G. Aquino as Independent Director, and Mr. Gerardo C. Ablaza Jr. as Independent Director. The Corporate Governance Committee has duly ascertained that the 7 nominees are qualified to serve as directors of the company. All the nominees have given their consent to their respective nominations.
May we now have the results of the election, please?
Mr. Chairman, each of the nominees have received at least 6,156,275,387 votes. Based on this, I certify that each nominee has received sufficient votes for election to the board. Congratulations.
Based on the Corporate Secretary's certification, I declare the nominees as duly elected members of the Board of Directors for the year 2023. We now go to the approval and ratification of the acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual stockholders meeting. Management seeks the approval of the shareholders of all acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual meeting. May I ask the Secretary to please share the voting results on the item?
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval and ratification of all the acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual stockholders meeting.
Thank you very much. The acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual meeting are hereby approved. Next, we now proceed to the next item in the agenda, which is the appointment of the external auditors of the company for 2023.
The Audit Committee recommends the appointment of SGV and Company as the external auditor of the company for the year 2023. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the appointment of SGV and Company as the company's external auditor for the year 2023.
Having received enough votes, SGV and Company is hereby approved as the company's external auditor for the year 2023. We now proceed with the next item of the agenda, which is the amendment of the bylaws to allow the conduct of board and stockholders meetings via remote communication.
Mr. Chairman, the board recommends the amendment of the bylaws of Holcim Philippines, Inc., particularly Article 1, Sections 1 and 2, and Article 2, Sections 4, 5, and 6, to allow the conduct of board and stockholders meetings via remote communication. The proposed amendments are flashed on the screen. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,161,268,787 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the amendment of the bylaws.
Having received enough votes, the amendments of the bylaws of Holcim Philippines, particularly Articles 1, Section 1 and 2, Articles 2, Section 4 and 5 and 6, to allow the conduct of board and stockholders meetings via remote, is hereby approved. We now proceed with the question and answers portion of the proceedings. As stated in the definitive information statement, all stockholders of record were allowed to submit via email through ASM registration page. We will now reply to those questions of the stockholders. May I request our communications manager, Mr. Don Hill Carrion, to read the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome everyone to the Q&A. We have received 3 questions for this meeting. If due to timing, we are unable to read all the questions, we will endeavor to respond to each of your questions through email. For the first question, please provide an overview of your sustainability direction at Holcim Philippines. Why is the company pursuing this?
Thank you, Don. Thank you for the question. So I think the why is pretty obvious. I have mentioned we are living in a beautiful country, and we would like to preserve the beautiful nature that we have in the Philippines so that future generations can also enjoy this, not only us. We have experienced in the last 20 years the effects of the global warming and climate change. not only in the Philippines, everywhere around the world, but to mention about Philippines, we have more typhoons than in the past, we have more heavy rains than in the past, we have more drought periods comparing to the past. And with the global warming and the rising of the sea levels, an island country like the Philippines will most likely be very much affected. I have visited the country in a meeting with customers and business partners over the last 2 years, and I cannot say I felt pity hearing from some of our customers that the water level raised even 30, 40 centimeters in the last year, and some of the territory that they used to have is not anymore livable. So that's the obvious reason, to make sure that whatever we have on the planet Earth, and especially in the Philippines, will remain to be the blessing for the future generations too. That's a company like Holcim trying to take the lead in this direction, because we are the leader in the sustainable and innovative solutions worldwide and in Philippines as well. So if the leader doesn't take a strong stand against this, then nobody will. So we would like to show to everybody that it's possible to do this, even with having the right efforts. But everybody should be on board, of course. It's not going to take the efforts of a single man or a single company. Everybody will have to be on board, and we are pleased to contribute to what the government of Philippines has announced in 2021, meaning the reduction of CO2 emissions by 75% until 2030. So that's really a strong commitment, and the Holcim is behind that 100%. Now, finishing with the why, the what is the following. So Holcim Philippines will continue to decarbonize our own operations. So whatever we control, we will definitely reduce the CO2 emissions from our products, from our operations, from the transportation business related to delivering raw materials and cement to our customers, and from powering our plants, so using more renewable energy. So we will work on this relentlessly, and we will continue to reduce the CO2 emission. Now, next, we believe in recycling as being the opportunity of our lifetime. We have one planet. We should not continue to use the resources as we used in the past, because the population is growing. So we will definitely go nowhere if we continue to build as we used to build in the past. So we have to embed more of recycling materials in the new way of construction. And while we will continue to embed this in our products, we have to work with specifiers, with architects, with decision makers to make sure that recycling is a focal point in terms of future constructions in the Philippines. We will also continue to encourage architects, engineers, specifiers to use smart design, meaning not only using smart materials or low CO2 materials, but also using smart design methods to build the future of the Philippines, using less materials, more efficient materials, so that we can get more efficient buildings. And last but not least, whenever we demolish something in the Philippines, we have to make sure that the materials that are resulted from the demolition can be incorporated into a new building. And I have to say, concrete, the material that we are producing in Holcim, it's 100% recyclable and represents a solution for the future of smart construction in the Philippines and worldwide. So I hope I answered to the why and to the what. Thank you.
Thank you, Horia. As a second question, you made a big splash recently with the rebrand of your flagship product into Excel EcoPlanet. How does this product help your business amid your challenges this year?
I don't know if I understood correctly, Don. How does this
product help your business amid your challenges this year?
Thank you. So, as we said, the market is going to be flat. The year 2023 will still be a year full of challenges because of the reasons we had the year 2022 being a challenging year. So for us, building on our expertise in developing innovative and sustainable solutions, it's an opportunity for tackling this market situation. So basically, with the EcoPlanet, we do believe that we will come up with something fresh, with something new for the construction industry, and we will drive the necessary change in construction, and thus positioning Holcim as a sustainable and innovative solution provider for the construction industry in the Philippines. So that's how it will help us weather the storm of the year 2023.
Thank you, Horia. As a last question, you outperformed competitors last year based on published results. Will there be a cash dividend this year, since for the past year there have been no dividends declared?
We have a dividend policy and we are reviewing this. For now, that's the answer I can provide.
Those are the only questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, is there any other item in the agenda?
No other matter, Mr. Chairman.
There being no other matters in the agenda, we can now adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance. Again, we are committed to strengthening the company to uplift our shareholders and better support the progress of our country.
Thank you again for attending the Holcim Philippines 2023 Annual Stockholders Meeting.
We're proud of what we do, and rightly so. Our materials have helped build some incredible things, connected communities, and changed lives. But let's face it, the challenges facing our business, our sector, our planet are more complex, more important, and more urgent than ever before. Doing what we've always done, in the way we've always done it, is not enough. It's why we're creating a high-performance workplace, one where anyone can be a problem solver, creative thinker, maverick, and innovator. A place where safety comes first, collaboration matters, and growth is celebrated. We need people who will question the ordinary, explore new ideas, who try, fail, and persevere when things don't go right, who share a burning desire to continually make our materials better. Whatever you do, you'll make a difference here, because we know that your passion and curiosity are the natural resources the world needs.
Can building be greener? Yes. At Holcim, we are on a mission to decarbonize building. It all starts with greening our operations, shifting to green energy, from alternative fuels to renewables, deploying green mobility from electric to biofuel fleets, putting our formulation expertise to work for low carbon and recycled raw materials, and developing next-generation technologies such as carbon capture. Can construction be greener? To build better with less, we offer the world's broadest range of green building materials, delivering 100% performance with at least 30% less CO2. And we empower smart design, like 3D printing, to save up to 50% of materials. Can cities be greener? 70% of buildings' carbon emissions come from heating, cooling, and powering. To make buildings sustainable in use, our roofing and insulation systems drive energy efficiency and green retrofitting, and our green roofs and permeable concrete bring more nature into cities. Can old buildings be recycled? Driving circular construction to preserve our planet's resources, we recycle millions of tons of materials every year, and offer the first cement in the world containing 20% construction and demolition waste. Decarbonizing building at scale is possible when we all collaborate, from construction companies, architects, and real estate developers, to urban planners, public authorities, and citizens. Let's decarbonize building together for a net zero future that works for people and the planet.